Hello, everybody, and welcome to today. Today is our Trio Summit, our annual Trio Summit. Normally, we would be doing this summit live in front of a room of people, but today we're doing things a little bit differently, right? Some of the content that you're going to see today is pre-recorded, but 95% of it is going to be live, and that's going to be streamed live over several different platforms, over Facebook, over Twitter, over YouTube. And the reason for that is because one, it can be interactive. We want to go ahead and interact with you. So if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section. We'll see them right away. We'll bring them up on screen. And if you have not yet done this, please give StreamYard permission to go ahead and use your name. That way we see your face, we see your name, and we can go ahead and say thank you to you. So again, we'll be streaming live on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube today. So really, really exciting. And that's what makes this really, really interactive. But let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to look at today. First of all, there's two sessions. This is session number one. It starts at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is right now, and ends in 2 hours at 12 p.m. Pacific time. And then session two happens at 2 p.m. We're going to take a short break in the middle so you can go ahead and take a phone call. You can go ahead and meet with a client. You can get some food, right? And hopefully kind of marinate on everything that we've just been talking about in session one. Session two is totally different topics out there. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we are talking about in session one. Session one, we're going to be talking about several different things. First of all, we're going to start off with our keynote speaker, who is Daryl Lewis, our founder and CEO. We're going to be talking to agents. We're going to be talking to lenders. We're going to be talking to title and escrow officers. We're also going to be having a special guest, which is a Washington, D.C. policy expert. I know we're all kind of wondering what's going to be happening next week or what's going to be happening in November, right, with the election. And this gentleman will be able to help us out. You know, if one candidate wins, what does that look like for the housing market? If the other candidate wins, what does that look like for the housing market? So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. We also have a very big announcement in session one, so please stay tuned for that. And of course, games and prizes. In session two, we're going to be talking about several different things. We're going to be talking about the tools and calculators of our website. Not everybody's had a chance to kind of play around with those or, you know, just taking a look at them, but they're really, really helpful and they're going to really help you out, especially if you're working with any sort of customers looking at the taxes or looking at what their monthly payment would be. This is going to be really, really super important for you. We're also going to be looking at the application and underwriting process, as well as obviously the full transaction and closing process. Now, most of you had already kind of gone through some of this, more of a Reader's Digest version inside the Trio training, but this is going to be the full 2 hours here going through this entire process. So if you have questions, this is the place to ask it. We also have a huge announcement. I think this one's even bigger, especially for agents, a big announcement number 2 in session 2. And then of course, games and prizes again, right? So stick around for that. We'd love to go ahead and hand that out. Session 2 starts at 2 p.m. Pacific time and ends at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Now, let's go ahead and go over to Daryl Lewis, our CEO and founder, for his keynote speech. Here we go.
Hey, welcome. This is Daryl Lewis. I'm the managing director of Trio and want to welcome you to the Trio Summit this year. It's great to have all of you today, and I just want to give you a bit of background on what happened in 2020 and where we're headed for 2021. Can you believe it? It's already getting close. So in 2020, I think we all know what happened in terms of COVID. You know, we started off the year great, lots of different markets going super well, new launches and, you know, excitement down in the Texas area and down in Arizona and starting up in Nevada as well. And, you know, a lot of agents come on board. Aaron and his team did a great job bringing up our Facebook accounts and starting up, you know, Trio Talks and the rest. From a company perspective, you know, we had some dramatic things that happened this year. On the positive side, the rate of our customers going into home ownership is over 80%, which is gigantic. And for those of you who don't understand our industry as well, most of our, you know, quote unquote competition are well below the opposite of that. So they're less than 20%. So it's a gigantic difference that we have in our program. And as you know, it's the way we structure it. COVID did happen this year, as we all know, and for our customers in our houses, it was a big deal. But we were very fortunate that we put in place, over a year ago, a home payment protection program. And that saved our customers a tremendous amount of strain, grief, stress, you name it, and also made sure that their payments were, paid on time. And our rates and numbers were so much lower than the forbearance rates, really down to a third of that. And our ability to overcome those setbacks was dramatic in comparison to the mortgage industry. So we're super proud of that. Our counselors did an outstanding job. Now this year heading towards the end, full steam ahead. Markets are super busy. We have lots of applicants thanks to all of you. And the challenge is getting folks into homes, right? Meaning finding those houses, getting them under contract. For 2021, we've got a lot of new exciting changes at Trio. You've seen some already. I know that today there'll be an announcement about some of the changes we're making to our agent compensation structure, making that easier and actually more incentives for all of you guys, especially those of you who dedicate yourselves around our program. The other thing that we're doing is we're making our underwriting easier and the process simpler. So it'll be faster and easier for all of you. And then in 2021, we'll be both kind of launching potentially even some new products. We've got a few things on the drawing board that should make a big difference for our customers. For you lenders out there, we'll add a new product that you're going to be able to have on your rate sheet as you set up as a correspondent with us, or if you are already, it'll be added to the rate sheet. And the underwriting will be done in-house with you. So dramatically different, not putting that into Trio for underwriting approval, but you will be able to underwrite those customers for our program and close the loans on our behalf for those customers in their homes. So pretty exciting stuff, something no one else has ever done before. So that said, enjoy the rest of the program today. We've got a great morning coming up, and this afternoon will be full of all sorts of great information. So thanks again and enjoy the day.
Thank you so much, Daryl. All right, for our first guest, I want to introduce to you. Let me go ahead and bring him out here. Hey, good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm great, Aaron. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
This is Steve Zaginski. He is the associate broker at eXp Realty in the Phoenix market. And one of the things that we did about 2 months ago, Steve, is we talked about, we did a survey and just asked, what do people want to talk about? What do they want us to cover? And the number one thing that they asked was, we want to talk with an agent who's actually closed a home with us and what was their experience like. And that's what we kind of want to talk about today. So why don't we go ahead and kind of delve into that. You closed your first home with us, I don't know, maybe it was 2 months ago, I guess. And so can you kind of recount what that experience was like? And I know you were very new to Trio at that point. So please be honest about what happened and how you felt about the process.
Sure. And just to clarify, I'll say I'm an associate broker. I happen to be with eXp, but that's the extent of that. I'm not representing the company per se. So I first heard about Trio, got really excited about it from the get-go. The mission statement of increasing home ownership, one that most realtors can relate with. And I ran with it, put a Facebook post up. And before I knew it, I had somebody that, of course, I didn't know was thinking about even making a move reach over to me. And I just put them directly in touch with Trio at that point. And I really didn't pre-qualify them. Trio did the heavy lifting. So going forward, maybe that's something as an agent that you're going to want to pre-qual before turning somebody over. But excited about it. And he called me and said, Steve, we're approved for the program, or we should get the approval within a couple of days. And we were out there right away looking at houses. And it turned into something very exciting for them because they thought they were going to be stuck as renters. And they weren't really sure that this was going to work for them, and it did. So the process was pretty quick to start.
Well, what did you kind of learn from the process? I know you'd gone through the training. Did you feel like you had enough? You knew what the expectations were. Did you understand everything about the 3% selling and closing costs? Let's talk about those two things for a second.
Yeah. So no, I didn't go through the training well, I immediately went through the training. Once I turned them over and they got approved, I thought, okay, I put the cart before the horse, and I went ahead and went through the training. And I set the expectations with my clients. I said, listen, this is the first time for me going through this. Obviously, it's your first time, so we're going to learn it together. So I was upfront and honest with them, and that really helped, I think, to obviously set the right expectations, but quickly understood what I needed to do. And so when we were looking for a property, we ended up finding a home that was new. It was a year old. Made it very easy for me because, of course, the inspection items were small, very minimal items, and that did make it easy. And one of the points I'll bring up is that until you have the appraisal, the clients don't have the full numbers. So they're not going to know exactly what the lease terms are going to look like. They're going to have an estimate, but they're not going to have the entire budget until after we get the appraisal done. And so that, again, that's another expectation setting moment, is to figure out that you're not going to know everything until it unfolds, and then just prepare them for that.
Yeah, to kind of touch upon that, what were the estimates pretty close to what the appraisal was, and what their pre-approval was on that part of the process?
It was close. I think I don't know that they were prepared for the total number at the end. So maybe that was an education process for me too, is that, there is an end number, 2 years down the road. And again, we're hoping that the homes also appreciate, so they can capture some of that. They're paying some of it down. So when they take everything into consideration, ultimately this is a very good, it's a good transaction for our clients, to push them into the home ownership rather than being stuck as renters.
Absolutely. Now, when you and I had spoken earlier, you had mentioned something about the 3% seller paid closing costs. That always seems to be kind of a sticky subject with everybody, and kind of want to go over what was your experience like with that?
Yeah, so you got to know your market, of course, and you got to know your buyers. So if your buyers need that full 3%, well, you got to go into every transaction knowing that. If they can say, Steve, we can cover half of it, all right, so now you know that, but you want to go in, you want to run your comps, see where the value is, and if you can come in at a higher purchase price and get the seller to make those concessions, maybe that's something you need to do, especially in the competitive market we're in now. It could be hard to go in, offer a contract at, let's say, list price, and you're getting beat out by other agents because they're coming in above list. So you got to know the market. You got to know what the saturation rate might be in your area. And then you just use a combination of negotiation. Maybe you raise the price up, a little bit, and you want to know that it's going to hit the appraisal, and then you ask for the balance in closing costs as concessions. And one note, it's important to make the sale before the sale. So be in communication with the listing agent prior to you really even submitting the offer, so that they're aware that you've got an institutional buyer. Talk about what Trio does, talk about Trio's mission statement, so that you can build a story behind who your client is, so that you can kind of sell the strength of Trio in an uncertain market. Maybe you have a more secure buyer going into it. So you could, because that agent is going to have to sell it to the seller as well.
We get that all the time, and just for any agents out there that are maybe going through their first transaction and they're talking to the selling agent, if you need a little bit of help with that, we're always happy to help out with that. So give us a call, email us. We'll be happy to go ahead and talk with that selling agent. I always like to share the story. Just the other day, actually, in the Texas market, an agent had called me and he said, hey, I was calling you to go ahead and talk with the selling agent, but the selling agent said, don't worry about it. I'm a Trio agent now too. So the word is getting out. Everyone's starting to understand it, which is great. So it will get easier along the way. We both know that, but we're still relatively new in the Arizona and Texas markets. Now let's kind of talk about real quick, why Trio? You've now covered closed a couple homes with us, right? I'm sure the first time was kind of a learning experience. The second time you're like, okay, I think I got this. Why Trio now?
Yeah, so I'll tell all the agents out there, our job in an increasingly competitive market is to add value to all of our clients and prospects. Why do they want to work with you? And we need to be, I heard this the other day at a summit, we need to be option brokers. So we can't just go into a transaction and just do the same thing over and over again. Maybe there's a way that we can reach out to our sphere and say, hey, do you have somebody who is just getting started in business and they don't have 2 years and they don't want to rent anymore? Trio is an option for them. So if we can think of ourselves as being option brokers, Trio just gives us more ammunition to go out to our sphere and to do open houses and to have something else to talk about that's different than every other agent, and really provide a tremendous service to the community. If we're looking to increase home ownership and we can take people who would otherwise maybe be renting for years to come and put them into home ownership, and now they can start building wealth and continue on that. Trio, again, the mission statement speaks for itself. And I think as agents, we would want to partner with any company that's looking to put people into a property and with a successful track record. You guys aren't looking to put them in for failure. You're setting them up for future success. And
that's
so
fantastic.
I think Trio really provides value to us in being that options broker.
Absolutely. I mean, you always want to make sure that you've got all the tools ready to go ahead and work with the customer on, right? And what about with lenders? Trio is obviously very unique. There are other rent to own and lease to own programs, but none of them can offer anything that we offer in terms of working with lenders, right? That's actually an option. So everybody in the industry wins with Trio. Are you doing anything right now to sort of build relationships or anything like that with lenders?
So that's a great part of it. And I can't say that right now I'm actively cultivating it, but I should, and I have in the past, where, a simple phone call, and a lot of us agents who are busy are getting phone calls anyway from lenders saying, hey, anything we can help you with. And so we can turn that around to them and say, hey, listen, here's something you can provide to your customers. Absolutely. If you get 2 or 3 denials per week, why don't you send them my way and I can have a conversation with them about Trio? Or a lender, why don't you look into Trio yourself, and maybe there's something you can do with Trio. So now again, you can become an options broker. You don't have to turn somebody away, and now you just solidify a relationship with a prospective client that extends maybe into their family because they're thinking of somebody else. And so it's adding value. And so with lenders, I don't think there's a time you should not be on the phone with a lender when they call you that you don't mention Trio, because again, it's about building relationships.
And you're absolutely right. It's that relationship, like you said. They might not just be thinking about themselves. They might go, you know what, my Aunt Susan might be able to utilize this, or somebody, a family member or friend that could absolutely utilize this, right? And we actually have an agent that she's only marketed once. Everything else is now kind of off of referrals, right? And that's always the wonderful part. You start building that relationship, building that trust with customers, and then of course they're going to recommend you, right?
Yeah, it's something unique and maybe different. And so when people are thinking real estate, you want people to think of you. And if Trio helps, then use Trio to have them think of you.
Absolutely. Well, Steve, I want to thank you, and I want to put up your contact information up here. So what I love your email address, mrstevez@gmail.com. I love it. So if you want to get in touch with Steve, he's obviously in the greater Phoenix market. And Steve, do you prefer email, phone number, or what's best with you? Either one?
Yeah, email's good, text is good. And feel free. If you need to reach out to me with questions, I'm absolutely available. It doesn't have to even be about Trio. So if you just you have any needs, just let me know. I'm available.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful rest of the day and a great weekend.
Yep, you too. Thanks so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. We'll give you everybody a second just to go ahead and copy this down. Again, that's Steve Zaginski. He's one of the associate brokers at eXp Realty in the greater Phoenix market. And you can email him at mrstevez@gmail.com. All right. So that's somebody obviously in the Phoenix market, one of our biggest markets here at Trio, and one of the biggest markets obviously in the country. But we're going to take a look at a different, very large market, and that is our Houston market. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on Sonia Renteria. How are you today, Sonia?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. So Sonia is with Citigroup Properties in Houston, as we know. I think it's the fourth largest city in the country, and you are one of the top agents actually in the Houston market. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I know you don't want to, toot your own horn there, but I think that's really important for people to know because one of the things I often hear agents say is, "Well, I'm so busy, and obviously you are too, being the number one or one of the number one agents in Houston. I don't necessarily have time for Trio, so I kind of want to talk about that. You somehow have found time for Trio and a need for Trio.
Yes, I love Trio.
That's fantastic. So how are you I guess let's kind of talk about how are you kind of building your business with Trio right now?
I do a lot of business with builders. So I have been building the relationships with the builders that I already have and reaching out to them. I go along with the guidelines and kind of like what Steve was saying on my very first one, I kind of warned the builder, okay, there may be some bumps and bruises, so we're going to work this out together. It actually went way more smooth than what I thought that it would do. So it's kind of, I don't know.
That's a very normal reaction, right?
Yeah.
I think everybody thinks, oh, it's totally different. How am I involved? But there's only a few parts that are just slightly different, right? But when you kind of get through it, you're like, you know what, this is exactly how the other ones were, just slightly different. So well, that's fantastic. So yeah, let's talk about how are you building that relationship with home builders, because that's one of the number one questions we get all the time. And yes, just to kind of make sure everybody knows, we can buy new and we can buy older homes, right? And so, but not a whole lot of agents are actually trying to build that relationship with home builders. And I think we always get the question, well, can I have a list of all the home builders that you work with all the time? And I always tell them, it really varies from city to city and market to market. I mean, in the Houston market, I'll use Lennar or DR Horton as an example. I believe they have like 5 different branches each there. And so just because you work with one doesn't mean it translates to the other one, right? And so what has kind of been your experience and how are you kind of going about and trying to solve that and give opportunities for customers?
Originally, I was going to specific salespeople. And then I decided I'm going to go straight up to the top. So I started reaching out to the VPs and basically explaining to them, hey, this is another tool in the shed for you if you can't get these. And for Trio, that you can go down to a 580 credit score. Here, many of the lenders require 640 plus. So it's very easy to get, I think it's very easy to get in there with builders and build those relationships because of that right there. Their salespeople know that if they can't get someone between that 580 and 640, it opens the doors for so many more opportunities for them. Now, originally, I had to, the salespeople kind of pushed me aside because they thought I was trying to lease their home. But then when they realized, oh, I get paid, I started kind of doing my pitch a little different. And now I have the VPs calling me and asking me to come in and talk to their whole sales teams, which I have done with several of these builders. And it's awesome. So I have, 50, 60 salespeople sending me leads that it's kind of turned around. Instead of me taking leads to them, they've brought leads to me.
That's fantastic. When any sort of agent out there maybe needs a little bit of help with this in any sort of way, like I said, I'll give sales agents a call. I'll give home builders a call and talk to them about that. And I can tell you with home builders, and you can probably agree with this, or just this will probably like your experience, Sonia. They ask 2 questions. They ask, and the first one is always going to be, am I the one leasing this? Right. And you just kind of answer that. And once you say that, they're like, oh, okay, let's have the conversation. Right. They just want to make sure that that's what this is not about. But when they hear that there's actually a guaranteed sale, that we have, we're pre-approved, we're ready to go, they're super excited to talk with us. And this works for customers. Here's where I see the value in this. A couple different ways. One, for that home builder, if they have any sort of stale inventory, this is great, right? Because they're wanting to move that fast. This is a great way to go ahead and get a customer in there. But this also works great for any customers out there that, let's say, they want to do Trio, but they're not ready, right? Their lease isn't up for another 6 to 9 months. Start the process now. Get them talking with that home builder. Yeah. Start building that home now, because that's going to take a while. I think we're finally getting to a customer that at the beginning of COVID wanted a brand new home. I think it's going to be finished on November 1st or somewhere right around there, right? So it's taken a while to get to that point, right? And that's always an important thing too, right? I think so many agents think about, okay, this is what's happening right now in front of me, but you got to think about what's happening obviously in the future with your customers. Yeah. Now, when you and I spoke just the other day, you said you had a lot of customers in the pipeline, Trio ones as well as regular ones. So just kind of give people an idea, how many transactions and how many things are kind of going right now for you?
Well, I have about 20 something that I'm working right now. And I would say at least 8 to 10 people a day, salespeople call me. So I will collect their documents. I don't have them hang on to their documents. I have them send their documents so that
You're talking about customers, correct?
Yes. Customers.
Okay.
And the other situation that has came up with a lot of these builders where they have started construction on a home, it's almost done. And because of the COVID, everything switched around and changed on them. And now all of a sudden they're receiving a denial after they just built the customer's house. So that's another thing that's been switching over to me, because it's so easy to qualify. It's so awesome. So I kind of use that, to my advantage too. And instead of me begging for their business, they're like begging me to help. So I'm very
That's fantastic.
With clients.
So that's taken a little while to go ahead and build that relationship with sales agents. But once that relationship is built, there's a forever conversation happening now, and a great now pipeline for any of those Trio customers. Yeah. Now, I want to touch upon something you just said.
Yeah.
Let's go through the application process.
Okay.
You said you do something a little bit differently, because a lot of agents just send their customer to the website and say, hey, fill this out. And you're shaking your head no. So tell me, what do you do that's different? Because I think a lot of people are always worried about, I want to make sure I get this referral. I want to make sure that they've signed the release form. I want to make sure, I don't lose this lead. So what do you do that's different? You mentioned something that you're gathering the documents.
Yes. So what because I deal straight with the VPs of each of these companies, then when I go talk to their salespeople, the very first thing I tell them is what they need. And don't call me until you get those documents. Once you get those documents, I call the client and I'll say, hey, are you available at 2:00 today? And I actually schedule a phone appointment. They call, or I call them. I give them a 5-minute, hey, I'm about to call you.
Wait, hold on. You mean between your 20 to 30 transactions right now, you're actually spending the time to do that?
Every one of them. I kind of feel like if you don't do that, you're floating. They're just floating out there, and there's no, they may be in a hurry, but they don't understand the loan process, And so I get the docs. I look at them, making sure that everything looks good. I schedule that phone appointment. I do the phone appointment, and I will get them online, and I help them fill out that number 1 and number 2 of the application. After that, I tell them what to expect. They're going to receive a welcome email. Make sure they check their junk mail. And I actually tell the client, now make sure you send me your customer ID number. Even though I get that customer ID number, it's mainly so that I know they completed the application.
Well, that's really smart, right? So you've kind of set up a checks and balances, but you've also set up a good relationship, and knowing that you guys are working together on this, essentially kind of as a team, right? And that's always kind of nice, right? Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, Sonia, I think the last thing I want to kind of focus on is, like, how are you kind of getting your leads right now?
I call on the builders. The builders. And it's really funny because I pretty much everybody that calls me, I am almost forgetting about the loan side of it. Oh, they may qualify for a regular loan, because I'm so excited about this program. Right now I have 32 pending homes, and I would say a good 10 of them are in the field for Trio. I keep forgetting that I could put them in a regular program because I keep sticking everybody through Trio. Like, oh yeah, you qualify for a regular loan. So I think this program is so unbelievably awesome.
So again, folks, if you're just joining us, Sonia is one of the top agents in the Houston market, which is the 4th largest city in the country. And she is doing, 20 to 30 transactions right now. So it sounds like it's going to be a good Christmas for you, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think it's also really important to note that she's taking the time to work with these customers and still finding value with Trio. So I'm going to go ahead and put your contact information up here, Sonia. I just want to make sure if anybody wants to get in touch with you, just curious, are you looking to build a team in any sort of way or anything like that?
You know what? It's really funny. I had a team and I don't want to manage a team. I feel like I'm in the forest. If you ever waited tables, in the forest, you're in the forest. But if you do this, it actually saves you time. If you can streamline this business, it will save you so much time. You're not chasing after a client for docs. Their application's done. The processing is awesome because they will send you updates. And so where you can maybe help your client get over that little edge right there that they may be trying to get to.
Absolutely. Now, I do have a quick question here from somebody. This is Lance. So I don't know if you know the answer to this, and I think this is a good one for you. So let me go ahead and bring it up on the screen here. Lance asks, how does Trio handle the design center costs? And I think that kind of varies from builder to builder, but in your experience, what have you kind of noticed with that?
Is he talking? So when I go talk to these VPs, and now I have VPs calling me, by the way, I just had one of the largest DR Horton. They build over 50,000 homes, and they literally just reached out to me. So I tell the builders up front that they must cover 3% closing cost up front. I hit it at the top, and they're open to that. As long as they know up front, most of them will negotiate 5,000 to 10,000 off. So instead of them giving options and upgrades, they take 3% of that. The balance is used up by the client. But I've not had any problems. I haven't had any builders say no to me.
That's fantastic. Well, Sonia, thank you so much for joining me today. Do appreciate it. I know we had some technical difficulties yesterday, but today went smooth. Thank you so much for doing this. And I'm going to let you get back to your customers because I'm sure your phone is blowing up right now.
Yep.
Okay. Have a great weekend. All right. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, folks. So obviously Sonia is one of our top producers in the Texas market. We have already brought you somebody from the Phoenix market, from Arizona. We brought you somebody from Houston, from Texas. Now it's time to go ahead and bring on some fabulous folks from California. I'm going to go ahead and bring on, let's see, I think they're ready now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Eric Ilovsky and George Chaidez. How you doing, guys?
I'm doing well. Sorry, guys, a little technical difficulties trying to find a spot that would work here in Tahoe.
No worries. No worries. Well, you poor thing. I know Tahoe. Wow. Poor guy.
Actually, she won property all day today, so that's actually a good thing.
Now, I was going to say that you guys obviously do stuff in Sacramento, the River City. You do stuff in the Bay Area, but I don't think I was aware you guys also do stuff in Tahoe. So what areas do you guys? All over. Okay, so is it all over Northern California? Should I just
pretty much? Yeah.
Okay. Well, fantastic.
Bay Area, Sacramento, Northern California.
Sorry. I think what we're trying to do, and especially since we.
Sure.
No. Go ahead, Eric.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead. Why don't you go ahead and take over, Aaron?
Sorry. No. I think we're having just a slight delay, and no worries about that. I just want to first introduce you guys and make sure that we fully introduce you so people know who we're talking with. Eric, why don't you go ahead and first by introducing yourself, because you wear many different hats, and I want to make sure that everybody knows exactly who we're talking with here.
Sure. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Aaron. I am been in the business. This is my 29th year in the real estate industry. I am the vice president of Essex Mortgage for Northern California. So we have a great relationship with Trio to be able to fund their loans as well for the home purchase option. But we're also I'm also CEO and broker of Real Life Real Estate, and we have a real estate company that will help us not only once we pre-approve them either with Trio or traditional financing, we're going to go out and find them a home. And we are throughout Northern California. And since we've partnered with Trio, we've been fortunate enough to expand our footprint. But we're always looking for good agents out there to help us run our leads. Unfortunately, we get sometimes in some areas that we just don't have anybody. So we're always looking to grow the team.
That's fantastic. And I think George is somebody who you've worked with for a while, but it's kind of new to the real estate team. Is that correct, George?
That's right. As a matter of fact, it was when they brought this program to us. I think it was last fall. Was it, Eric? Roland came down to Folsom, and this was one of the things that motivated me to get my license, because I saw a great need for it, and I love, as a salesperson, there's nothing you love more than having a product that that no one else has, and be in that it really motivated me to go out there, because I already saw the need for it, and I thought this would be a great way to jump into that environment.
And I think that one of the things that we kind of left off is we have a radio show for the last 7 years, and one of our mantras on that show is stop paying your landlord's mortgage. And
that's right.
Trio gave us a great opportunity for somebody who's not ready to buy to basically kind of pay themselves, become their own landlord. So it gave them a great option to fulfill that mantra of not stop paying your landlord's mortgage, where you're actually, working on in some way, shape, or form, you're paying yourself and becoming your own landlord on that particular.
And we do a lot of things. We have a lot of tools with our business partners. We have a lot of things that where people don't qualify yet, we help you get there. And this just fast forwards that. This is like the fast lane, and this helps you get in now. So I thought it had such an impact on me that, like I said, it motivated me to get my license so I can do it all.
Right.
That's
so I'm
fantastic.
really excited about the program, and I'm really excited to get it. I'm closing my first transaction now, but I have 3 others ready to go. So I mean, it's for me, it's a big deal.
That's fantastic. So yeah, let's talk about the transactions, because you guys are very unique. You're kind of a one-stop shop, because obviously lending's also involved with this in addition to real estate. And so, but you guys have closed several different types of homes with us, right? You've done our normal Trio first transactions, which is, I think, what you're talking about there, George, but you've also done our Trio ready homes, which are the ones that we already own that actually are a little bit faster process. And hopefully one of you can talk about one of you can talk about the other in terms of that process. And George, why don't we talk about you in terms of the Trio first, because this is your first transaction. What has the experience been like? And obviously said you have 3 more in the pipeline going on right now.
Yeah, it's great. It always comes down to the customer experience, because, we work for them and they're going to judge us. Our reviews and everything come from them. Mm-hmm. And so they love the product. They love the process so far. They're amazed at how smooth everything's going. And a lot of that is on our end. Of course, we do everything to make the transaction smooth. But the bottom line is that, my clients are in love with their home. They thought the process was great, and they're happy. They're extremely happy. And so I think it's going to be one of those closings that I'm going to be able to, share with people and promote the Trio, product.
Yeah, George, that's a great, because you're talking about somebody that actually has come pre-approved, started with Trio, which is a great opportunity for somebody who wants to become a homeowner in the future and go out and pick out their home and actually fall in love with their forever home to eventually own, which is very unique in this market. And that's one of the benefits of kind of what our show is, what we do at Essex Mortgage is promote home ownership. And I think that's why we're so key and we're so in tune with this product. But I've also had a client that was in contract for a traditional mortgage. We had a non-occupied co-borrower all set up, ready to go. And then the non-occupied co-borrower decided that they didn't want to move forward. And it put us in a unique situation on a property we're already in contract with. We called Trio, we transferred it over, we did a little education, and we were able to save that transaction. And And by doing that, we're educating not only buyers, we're also educating agents out there and listing agents and other real estate professionals about the benefits of Trio. So when these offers do come across, they understand exactly how the program works.
If in case you're just joining us, we've got Eric Ilovsky and George Chaidez here from the Sacramento, I should say the Northern California market. Eric's joining us from Tahoe. George, I think you're probably in Folsom, right? Is that correct?
Sacramento.
Sacramento. Okay. So, but really Northern California. And just to give you guys a quick shout out, you guys are on the radio every week or every day almost, right? So tell us just a little bit about that, because that is a fantastic marketing tool and it's allowing you to go ahead and get out there. And Eric, as you said, you're trying to build your team. So this is a great way to go ahead and pitch that.
Well, yeah, I started the show almost 8 years ago. I keep saying 7 just out of habit, because of my sheer frustration after the downturn of what we were hearing in the national media about homeownership was a terrible thing. Banks were evil. You were never going to see value again. So I wanted to, if you listen to the national media, you would get a total falsity of what was happening. Yes, bad things happened. And it was basically loan products that got us into that point. And I can talk an hour about that. But what I wanted to provide is a one-stop shop for the consumer to become and get the power of knowledge on one of the largest investments they're ever going to make, to educate them about how, and again, years later, maybe their mom or dad or brother or sister went through an economic event that lost their home. And people were really afraid of that. So we always look at ourselves as educators and not salesmen. And believe it or not, just the show that we're on, we have 2 shows, one in the Bay Area and one up in the Sacramento region. So we're heard by about 300,000 to 400,000 people every week. And we're not a hard sell, selling rates. We are an educational tool that promotes programs like Trio to help people understand the power of knowledge. And we live in an age where the internet is, and a lot of our times we're disproving or discounting things that people look on the internet, maybe guidelines that are outdated. But the radio show footprint has not only helped our borrowers, but Arthur, our real estate partners, to help promote Trio and other programs like that, and reach a wider audience, because education is powerful, whether it's a real estate agent who has never heard of Trio before, or a homeowner that's sitting there paying his rent for 4 years at $2,000 a year. And when you come in and quantify that, hey, you've been paying $100,000 over the last 4 years, light bulbs go off. And hey, I can't buy ready today. I might not be able to buy today, but hey, we have this other program where you're going to get all the benefits of homeownership and still get to pick that property out.
That's great. So obviously the radio show is a great way for you guys to go ahead and promote your business and promote the program. And I can't tell you how refreshing it is to hear that, yeah, we're not just trying to sell the customers. We need to educate them first, right? To give them all their different options, and really, that we believe in transparency here at Trio. And so that's really refreshing to hear. But how are you guys going ahead and promoting your show? And I'm going to throw this one on over to you, George, because I see your videos all the time and they're great. And you're obviously a big presence on social media. So I'm going to let you kind of take it away on what you're doing that's a little bit different.
It's following, one of the pillars of real life and working with Eric and Essex Mortgage has always been education. And that's one of the things that drew me to the radio to start doing it, get involved with that, because I've always been that way. I found that it's a better sales technique to give everybody the information that they need to make a decision they're going to feel good about. And then they thank you for it. So, I've always, approached it from that angle, by educating people. And that's kind of what Eric and Real Life and Essex Mortgage, that's what they were already doing. So, and then with the radio show, now it's times 10, times 1,000. So, and to be honest with you, I was on the radio yesterday, and it seems like, what's that?
I just say, George, I want to tell everybody, you've had your own show, both in Spanish language stations as well as the same station I'm on in the past. So, I mean, you're covering all markets.
And I've never gotten as much and as quick a feedback as as with Trio. I was just on the radio yesterday, and I mentioned it yesterday, and I get a bunch of hits. Sometimes they come via social media, sometimes they come straight to my phone. But it seems like every single time, whether it be online or on the radio, every single time I mention this program and the benefits and how it works, it's just boom. So that tells me that, there's not only a need for it, but it's interesting, and people are interested in they want to know more.
Guys, I'm going to go ahead and put your contact information up here. So again, real life real estate is in, I will just say, all of Northern California, right? I put Sacramento in the Bay Area here, but clearly also in the Tahoe area. These are really, really important areas right now. I mean, Sacramento is one of the largest places that people are now moving to or relocating to, especially those from the Bay Area, right? It's much more affordable than the Bay Area. And with all those tech companies, people not having to actually go into work and now needing to go ahead and, work from home, they want a little bit more space. They want a backyard. They want things like that, right? And so the Sacramento region is obviously still growing, and there's lots of space still available in the San Joaquin Valley. So a lot of different options out there. But I put your guys' email addresses here. So and also the phone number for real life real estate. Is that okay? Is it? And I also tagged you guys in this particular segment right here. So I see I'm getting a lot of questions over here in the section, and the questions are essentially, is this being recorded, and how do I get in touch with people, right? And so, well, obviously here's how to get in touch with people, but remember, these people are also in the Facebook group, and I can already see a couple of people. I see Jenny and Anthony. There's a lot of value there. And I see a lot of people. I see Jenny and Anthony already making a connection saying, hey, give me a call. People already connecting. That's what this is Facebook groups for. It's to go ahead and share good ideas and also to network, right? But to go ahead and get in touch with these guys right away, obviously they're in the Facebook group. You can direct message them there, or go ahead and email them or give them a call right here. And guys, I want to give you guys the last word on just real life real estate and any last things you kind of want to tell people about the area, because I will say this about Sacramento. We don't have very much coverage there, right? And so we would like a lot more coverage there. Yes. and I hope so. And I hope we can help you kind of build your business as well. And in terms of not only helping customers become homeowners, but also helping you find great real estate agents to go ahead and join real life real estate.
George, why don't you go ahead and first? I'll finish up.
Well, honestly, this, like I said, this has really given me a whole new breath of fresh air. I mean, regardless of whatever's happening with COVID and all that, to be honest, it's all perspective, and having a new product like this really invigorates someone, especially if you're a salesperson. And, especially like you said, out here, we don't, you don't have a lot of coverage. So I hope to cover every square inch of Northern California and bring this product to everyone that, it could help.
That's fantastic. And Eric?
I kind of want to piggyback on that is that, we are always looking for licensed agents and licensed NMLS loan officers. But, more importantly, just become part of our team. All loan officers and agents co-host. I wasn't able to make the show this Wednesday. George co-host for me with a couple other agents. So I always talk about the last job you're ever going to have in real estate. And I would love to meet folks if you're in the Bay Area or you're in the outlying areas. Aaron's right. We're getting so many calls of people moving up the hill. We have an office here in South Lake Tahoe, and we're seeing a 300% increase in just traffic and website traffic just this last 10 months or so. So if you're an agent, please give me a call. I answer my own phone, 916-806-0606. My contact information was there, or you just Google my name. But again, we are so happy to be a part of Trio and to promote the business and home ownership, because that's what we're all about as real estate professionals. Our job is to educate everybody about the tools, and everybody's different. What fits for one person is not going to fix for the next. So to have an extra option and an extra middle of the road piece where somebody can actually become and we all know buying a home is an emotional transaction, but if you can identify with a home, pick it out as your forever home and pick it out as you're going to buy that, and it is a great program. And we need agents to come work and join the brokers, whether you're new or experienced. We have leads. I'm fortunate enough for Aaron and Trio to keep sending them our way. We would love to fulfill those in areas that we're not already in. So reach out to me. And again, thank you for letting me be a part of this summit. Happy to be here.
Thank you very much.
And guys, I can tell you this on our Facebook and on, I can tell from Google Analytics, we're getting a lot of traffic in the Sacramento area right now from customers looking at the website, clicking on the applications. And so, yeah, we would love to do that. And we'd love to do a customer event with you at some point. So hopefully we can go ahead and get that scheduled here in the next couple months. And because that's just going to be so helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and put your contact information up here one more time. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I do really appreciate it, and I do want to make sure that the people do know how to get in contact with you. So have a wonderful Friday, and have a wonderful rest of the weekend, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And everybody have a great day.
Bye-bye. All right, folks. So if you want to get in touch with Eric or George, this is the best way right here. Eric at reallifere.com or George at reallifegeorge.com. Again, both of these guys, and I should say this for everybody because I'm getting a lot of questions. How do I get in contact with these people? And is this going to be replayed? Yes, this is going to be replayed because it's on social media. It's on Facebook. It's on Twitter. It's on YouTube. This is absolutely going to go ahead and be replayed, right? And so you can kind of watch it at your own leisure, whatever's going to be working best for you. That's the beauty of doing this live streaming, right? It isn't just live, it's also re-recorded, right? And I see we have almost 80 people in the room right now, which is fantastic, watching this and asking questions. So again, if you can't watch it right now, if you need a little refresher, you can go back and watch it on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. Now, how do you get in contact with people? Well, all of these people are tagged on that particular video right there in the Facebook group. They're all in the Facebook group, so you could go ahead and direct message them. And obviously, we've put their contact information on the screen, so you can give them a call or email them. And they are doing some great, great work. So far, just to recap, if you're just joining us right now, to see we just got about 15 more people in here. We've just talked with Steve in Phoenix. We've just talked with Sonia in Houston, and we've just talked with Eric and George in the Northern California market. But now we are going to go ahead and go on over to Daryl. He's got a fantastic interview here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it up on the screen here in just a second, Emma. This is with Jeb Mason, who is a Washington, D.C. policy expert. He's someone that, like I said before, we don't know what's going to happen next week. We don't know what's going to happen in November, right? And so depending on who is going to win the presidential election, everybody feels like I need to make a decision, and this is going to change the course of the country and everything. And so Jeb's going to kind of address that and talk about, okay, here's what to expect with a Biden-Harris administration. Here's what to expect with a Trump-Pence administration, or even, I always like to joke, a Kanye West administration. So yes, that's right. I said that. All right. So let's go ahead and go here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. This is the interview with Daryl, our founder and CEO, and Jeb Mason. Here we go.
Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today at the Trio Summit. You know, I'm so fortunate, and so are you, that we've got Jeb Mason with us today. And Jeb is with Mindset and formerly Cypress Group, and has been working. You know, Jeb, I think we met, I don't know how many years ago now it's been, but it was back during the crisis. You know, the last crisis that we had, right?
That's right. It's a deja vu all over again, right?
Well, fortunately, a different one in terms of housing, but rough for the rest of the country, right? Rest of the impacts. But no, so Jeb's here today. Jeb does a lot of policy work in DC for various interests in housing, outside of housing, but housing is one of his specialties, and he's been around it for quite some time. So Jeb, maybe a brief intro, and then we can, you know, start talking about a little stuff in policy.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Daryl. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. So I'm Jeb Mason. I'm a partner in Mindset, which is a public policy consultancy in Washington, D.C. And, you know, prior to that, joining Mindset and getting into consulting, I was at the Treasury Department, as Daryl alluded to, working with Secretary Paulson during the last financial crisis. And so that was sort of my trial by fire introduction to housing finance policy, and have had a passion for sort of the future of housing finance and creating a more stable system ever since then. So glad to be here.
No, it's been great. And I think, you know, over the years, Jeb and his team have been super helpful for us and other folks out in the housing world, just in trying to, you know, press the right type of things to help with affordability and so forth. You know, today, though, I thought would be great for all of us in the industry, and for those folks, you know, watching today at the summit, is to really focus on what might happen here with this, you know, significant change that's coming up potentially, either a change in administration to the Biden folks, or perhaps, you know, retention of Trump and his administration. But I think, in these times, it's always interesting, what is or could happen between now and inauguration, regardless of who wins the election. Jeff, maybe we start there.
Sure. Yeah. So, very active. It's probably unusual to have such sort of policy uncertainty right ahead of an election like this. Usually Congress has adjourned and gone home and is campaigning in the districts. But the combination of the need to confirm a new Supreme Court justice and ongoing negotiations over the COVID, what we call phase 4 package of stimulus has kept the dialogue very active from a policy standpoint in Washington. And of course, in that COVID package, even though this crisis, like you said, is quite different than the one from 07-08, in that housing was not a central cause, certainly, of this crisis, housing still has a relevant component of concern. And so, everything from, servicing home mortgages and the the COVID related forbearance that was created within the CARES Act, and of course thinking ahead to post forbearance loss mitigation options and home retention options. And of course there's very active negotiation about language that would be part of this next stimulus that would address the renter side, and so provide meaningful renter assistance, and to be paired with probably an eviction moratorium, so that people aren't being kicked out of their homes in the middle of this pandemic. So it's very active. I don't know that we'll get a bill before the election. I'm sort of skeptical that we will, but this could easily carry into what we'll call the lame duck session after the election. I think irrespective of who wins come election day.
Yeah. So then between November 3rd and January 20, there definitely should hopefully be some action on this, and benefit, I think, all of us in the housing world. We're happy today in terms of not being directly impacted, other than the things you mentioned. Of course, folks are having challenges making payments and forbearance and all the rest, but the transactional side, lenders are closing refinances hand over fist, and agents are super busy with the lack of inventory and folks looking to change their lifestyles, looking at bigger homes and such. But I think we all get concerned about, what you mentioned in terms of the rental assistance programs and the future of home ownership. So, when you look at the administrations, each side, tell us a little bit about, your insights on what you expect to happen if the Trump administration continues. And then we can talk about what would potentially be different than that with the Biden administration.
Yeah. I mean, look, obviously, if the Trump administration continues, if President Trump wins, and especially if Congress more or less stays in the same configuration as it is now, with the House controlled by Democrats and the Republicans controlling the Senate, it's not profound to say that it'll probably be much more of the same. Of course, it's more complicated than that. There'll be a whole new agenda. There'll be a whole new set of things that they're trying to accomplish in the next 4 years as an administration. But one of the certain commonalities that we'll see, I think, for either administration is that they're both going to still be contending with the COVID-related crisis, and so that obviously has the stuff on the healthcare side, vaccines and such. But there's economic consequences too, to the fact that people are having to be more socially distant, that you're having to adopt your professional life to that for those workers that can, and there's some workers that obviously can't. I mean, the nature of their jobs don't allow for that, and so a lot of concern for those people. The potential rising unemployment, or more permanent unemployment, I should say, since it's already risen quite a bit, and what we can do to sort of bridge the gap until we have effective testing and vaccine regime that allows people to sort of return to something we probably closer to approximate normal.
Right. Yeah. Someday, maybe. Right. Well, we're all hopeful for some pretty dramatic changes, and it sounds like things are in the works on that end of things. But sorry, you're going to say?
Well, I would say, I mean, some of the other things that are very active here, just even before year end, I should say, what I'd call administrative housing finance reform. There's some monumental rulemakings that are out there right now that I think will have a profound effect on the shape of housing finance markets for years to come. I mean, one of them is the ATRQM rule at CFPB. I think we'll probably see them finalize that before year end. We'll also see, FHFA has a enterprise capital rollout, which will impact the agency conforming market and its shape and scope. And I think we'll see that finalized before year end. And there's also a lot of, I think, kinetic activity at FHFA, just generally moving down the road towards eventually ending the conservatorships for Fannie and Freddie. And so the enterprise capital is one key component of that, but it's not the only key component of that. I think we'll probably see something from FHFA later this year, on what they're describing as their roadmap for ending the conservatorships. It's possible you'll see amendments to the preferred stock purchase agreements, which are what we used to call the keep well agreements, that where Treasury and taxpayers guarantee that Fannie and Freddie remain solvent in sort of all environments, and for which I think they'll ultimately have to pay some sort of ongoing fee for that guarantee. It's possible that I think it's fair to say that the Trump team, who's committed to a course of eventually bringing the conservatorships to an end, is trying to move down that path as quickly as they can. I think they'd prefer to have more time in a second administration to complete that work in a tidy way. There's some discussion and possibility that they may accelerate some aspects of that if they're leaving office. So just because I think they want to be able to complete it, or at least put the enterprises on a path which is difficult to reverse, and it sort of sets the course for the enterprises, to eventually end the conservatorships probably a couple of years from now.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. I mean, they've been it's been on the agenda for quite some time now, so I know you've been very active on that side. What do you think? What potential changes do you see happening if the Biden administration does come in here in January 2021?
Well, look, I think they, like the current administration, will be facing a lot of the same COVID-related pressures, and there'll be a housing component to that. I think that they will be more strongly inclined to stimulus than the current administration and maybe Republicans in the Senate are. But they'll have to, the final shape of that probably won't be too wildly different than some of the things that are already being discussed in negotiations between the chambers and between the administration and Democrats in Congress. I think that you will probably, one of the main differences you'll see is I think there's probably in the tension between risk taking and housing finance policy and access. I mean, you probably see the current administration a little more focused on taxpayer risk and concerns that the MIF, for instance, at FHA is going to face some real stress in the future, probably as a result of COVID and the backlog. I don't think we'll see that show up probably in the actuarial report that they do this fall, because that's not the way the sort of accounting works. But there's palpable concern about that. I suspect you'll see, I think this administration believes in the countercyclical role for FHA and for the enterprises. But you'll probably see an incoming Biden administration, should there be one, focus even more on that countercyclical role, probably have a little more tolerance for risk taking in order to help support the economy and support access to home ownership. I think one of the things that you'll see a new administration really focused on, of course, is trying to bridge the home ownership gap, especially the racial home ownership gap. And so, I think for companies, innovative companies like Trio, this is, actually a really interesting opportunity, a moment, and that I think, we tried once before to expand home ownership through simply beating out the underwriting box, and that ended in disaster. And we've seen that movie already. And I think I'm happy to say, still remember those lessons. But I think there's where the opportunity is going to come is really for people to roll up their sleeves and develop and work on sort of product development side. And Trio's innovation and technology, of course, can play a meaningful role. But I think just product design and you've obviously excelled at that. I think on-option leases can really be a key part of that equation to help bridge people from rentership to ownership, and do that in a sustainable and responsible way. I know, Daryl, I've said this many times. I think Trio is a little bit of a unicorn in that you have this rare opportunity with a product like that to actually decrease risk to the MIF at FHA and taxpayers, while still expanding home ownership opportunities for Americans, helping people get into the neighborhoods and the homes that they want, and sort of demonstrate their ability to afford a mortgage and and to develop a little home equity too in the process. And so I think that, but there are other opportunities too. I think in product development. I mean, shared appreciation mortgages and other things. So I think the moment is ripe for industry to really roll up their sleeves and think about, what are those products that exist today, and maybe they're still on the drawing board, and how do we put together a practical plan to put them in place and make the policy changes that might be necessary in some cases to really be able to expand those. I think that's going to be a real opportunity, amidst the firefighting of the COVID crisis. I think, there'll be a lot of focus there too.
Hey, one question before we wrap up here, and again, thanks so much for your time, is, on the Biden administration transition, I mean, do you anticipate, some of the same players that were there from the Obama administration side on the housing policy? Do you see some of those players coming back? I mean, it seems as if, we saw a really rough, usually you see a pretty rough transition when a new administration comes in. Now, Biden's, of course, going to have a new administration, but some of the folks maybe, they've, been there before, done some of that. What do you see the difference there? Do you see some of that or not?
Yeah, look, I'm cautiously optimistic that a transition in this case will be a lot smoother, say, than several of the more recent presidential transitions we've seen. Obviously, President Bush faced a unique circumstance when he came in because of the election controversy and the shortness of their transition, because it took a lot of time to sort out the recount in Florida. After that, I think President Bush and Congress recognized that this is a challenging and maybe risky proposition for the country, and so they started the process of transition planning much sooner in the cycle. But you had then Obama follow, who was, of course, a creature of Washington, but only recently a creature of Washington. So a lot of newness to that sort of transition process, I would say. I would say equally new for President Trump's transition, who brought a very new cast of characters to Washington. Was not a creature of Washington, very much ran as an outsider, and his campaign and his transition, I think, reflected a lot of that. That's not to say he didn't have some insiders guiding him through that process. He certainly did. But Biden, by contrast, is spent his entire career in Washington, has a strong network of people. He was vice president in the last Democratic administration. So, I would very much expect a lot of a familiar cast of characters to come in, especially in the housing finance world, which is a pretty, close-knit community, as you know. But there'll be some new people too, I think. And I think in particular, you're going to see an emphasis on diversity like you've never seen before in administration. Biden is committed to that on the campaign trail, and the focus on racial and social justice right now, I think, puts that much more impetus behind it. So, and so there'll be I think you'll see that reflected in his choices and key jobs, whether it's FHFA or HUD or CFPB or Treasury or the Fed or the White House and DPC or NEC. So it'll be a mix of very familiar names and some new names too.
No, that's great. Hey, Jeb, thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Thanks for your input. Super insightful. It's great for our group to be able to have some of your thoughts as we go into this fall season. We're just a couple weeks away, and so I guess from our side and your side, I guess the message to everyone is make sure you vote and make your voice counted, and we'll see what happens with the administration and go forward with our programs as best we can and keep fighting for housing.
Thank you, Daryl. Glad to have been here and appreciate the relationship, and look forward to talking again soon.
All right, thanks.
All right, take care.
Well, that was fantastic. I know there were a couple questions, and I see this one from Robin, so I just want to make sure we bring this up. There's a lot in that video about conservatorship, right? And so can you explain what that is exactly? Well, it's when the government owns something. Okay, so as an example, during the last not administration, during the last recession, Fannie and Freddie, they went bankrupt, right? And this is when the government took them over, and that's called a conservatorship. So that is what that is referring to right there. I see a lot of questions. Some people are saying they can't hear me, but I see other people saying I can hear you fine. So I would definitely recommend, if you're not using any sort of headset, wireless, or plugging in, it's probably going to be the best sound for you, just because there's people coming from different areas and different sort of devices, and it might have to do with your computer as well, and the internet. So I would absolutely recommend, if you're listening to this, please put on a headset, or please put in a headset of some sort and plug in, and it's probably just going to be a better option for you. We are running just a few minutes late. So just so you're aware what's coming up, we're going to be talking with a couple lenders here coming up here in just a few minutes. But first, I want to make sure that we go ahead and bring on Emma. So hi, Emma. How you doing today?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good, good. Emma is one of the newest members of the Trio team. She's been with us now 3 months. Is that correct?
I think about 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay, very, very close. And she is on our marketing team. She's fantastic. And I just want to give a quick shout out to her, because she's running everything behind the scenes today and doing a fantastic job at it. And so I wanted to bring her out here for that. But I also want to bring her out here because she's going to help me run a quick game, which is going to allow us to go ahead and do some prizes. So Emma, why don't you kind of go ahead and introduce us to what the game is and how we go ahead and play this?
Yeah, of course. So it's a myth and reality game on Kahoot. So if you go on your phone, you can go on your phone or computer, whatever device you have in front of you, kahoot.it. It's spelled KAHOOT.it. So you'll type that into your browser, and then I have a pin available for you guys to put in, then we could all play. And yeah, there will be some prizes at the end. So we're going to test your knowledge.
That's right. And these are all Trio questions. And please put your full name in here, because then we know who to send these prizes to. And the great thing is you're going to be sent a gift card instantaneously as soon as this game is done, which is really, really awesome. So why don't we go ahead and bring up the screen and introduce that pin. So again, go to kahoot.it. That is KAHOOT.it. If you have kids and you are used to any sort of distance learning in any sort of way, you're very, very familiar with this. You can do it on the app, you can do it on the desktop, either one, but you're going to need to go ahead and put in this pin right here. And that pin is 250032. I see we have one person in here already, Steve Singleton. Thank you so much, Steve. Come on, guys. There's like 80 people in this room. Let's get some more people in this. Yes. Cynthia, Joan, Anne. Fantastic. Now, it's only the first 20 people. I guess I should have said that, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Only the first 20 people are allowed to come in.
Right.
Okay, Bill. Yes, right. Sonia, Bill, Gina, one name. Okay. They're like Madonna or Cher. We just know who they are. Jenny in Texas, because there's only one Jenny in Texas. Let's see. Jalen, how you doing? Good to see you again. Anthony's been super busy on Facebook so far. Appreciate that. John, fantastic. We have 19. We have room for one more. Who's it gonna be? Come on, one more person.
That's all we need.
That's all we need. One more person. There it is. Perfect. All right. The game is closed. Why don't we go ahead and get started here?
All right. Here we go.
All right. Why don't you take the first question here, Emma?
Perfect. All right. Question number 1.
Ooh, here we go.
You need to be a Trio preferred agent to close a home. Myth or reality? What will it be?
True or false? Myth or reality? Red or blue? We only have one. Okay, a couple of people have 3, 2, 1.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, only a few of you guys answered so far, and the answer to this is actually myth, right? You don't need to actually be a Trio preferred agent to close on a home, but why would you want to go ahead and be a Trio preferred agent? Well, it's going to be a surprise here starting in the second session, but it's important to note that, remember, your customers, they get $400 off of closing to go ahead and do that. In addition, it's probably going to be a smoother process for you if you know what's going to be happening and how the process works, right? So it works for both people that way. All right, let's go ahead and do the next question. I'm going to read the next one here. All right, folks. Question number 2. Ooh, look who's in the lead. The last person to join. Good job. All right. Okay.
And also, the quicker you are to answer the question, the more points you get. So if you answer it faster, you'll get more points.
Very good. Very good.
Question number 2.
All right. Trio only works with customers with low credit scores. Myth or reality? Trio only works with customers with low credit scores. You have 12 seconds left. We've got a couple answers in so far. What's it going to be? Myth or reality? Red or blue? 6, 7, 8, 2, 1, 0. There it is. The answer to that is myth. A lot of people feel like there's only one option. Well, if they have a low credit score, that's the perfect way. But no, there's customers that have great credit scores. They make great money, but maybe they are a small business owner, or because what's happening to them in life or anything like that. There's a lot of different circumstances for Trio. So, we still have Zaira. I don't know if I'm saying that correct. In the lead with Nicholas catching up right there. I see the little green arrow. All right.
Nice job. Emma. Question number 3. Trio does a soft credit pull with Equifax for all applicants. Myth or reality?
I actually just got this question today from a customer on Facebook. So this will be a good question to make sure that you know. All right. 7 seconds left, everybody. Oh, we're getting more answers here. 16, 17. All right.
Ooh, nice.
Nice. So the correct answer is a reality. Yes, we do a soft credit pull with Equifax for all applicants, but there's kind of a asterisk next to that, right? Right, Emma? When do we do a hard credit pull? Oh my goodness. Hold on. Time out. We have a new person in the lead here. Nicholas, congratulations. Loving it. All right. And Terry all the way from Terry. Are you Dallas or Houston? I can't remember. I think you're from Houston. So fantastic. As you can see, she is on fire. But Emma, answer that question real quick.
Yeah, of course. So we used to pull with Acronet. So we used to do it with Acronet, which would be a hard credit pull. However, hard credit pulls are not good for anybody. So now it's Equifax. It's a soft credit pull. In the rare case where we can't pull your credit with Equifax, we do pull with Acronet. But we always tell anybody or everybody before we do it. And since I've started working here, I haven't seen one person with that scenario. So Equifax for everybody.
Perfect. And you let people know that ahead of time. So that's the important thing. But the soft credit pull, as you know, does not affect somebody's credit. That's obviously, if we're dealing with any customers that have low credit score, we don't want to kick them even further down by pulling their credit, right? Yeah. So, all right, let's go to the next question here. What question? Number 4. Trio accepts all applicants with bankruptcy. Trio accepts all applicants with bankruptcy. Myth or reality? It's kind of a trick question here. I can see it's kind of, oh wait, I got to think about this one because the answers are kind of coming in slowly. Got 3 seconds left. And the correct, wow, I'd love to see that. All right, myth. Yes, it is a myth. We do accept customers with bankruptcy as long as they have been discharged. Okay, so really, really important right there. We have a new 2nd and 3rd place here with Steve and Maria. So fantastic. 3 players are on a streak. Here we go.
Perfect. Next question. Trio recommends Trio preferred agents negotiate with the seller. Myth or reality?
If you were paying attention earlier when we were talking to Steve and different people, you probably know what we're talking about here. Is this a myth or reality? Red triangle or blue diamond?
Whatever that is, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, reality it is.
Absolutely. That's for the 3% seller closing costs. Absolutely. Fantastic. All right. New leader on the board here, Steve Singleton. Good job, Steve. All right, here we go. Next question. Question number 6. Trio only buys new homes. Now, we talked about this with Sonia earlier, right? Sonia definitely knows this answer, right? Because she's definitely working with home builders. But is that the only thing she said? So is this a myth or reality that Trio only buys new homes? You have 5 seconds left. All right.
Nice
It's
job.
a myth. Yeah, we buy old and new homes. The thing with when I say old, anything not brand new, right? And that particular, it's important to note that we are going to definitely be taking a look at that FHA home inspection on that. Steve is still on the top. So why don't we do our last question here? Let's go ahead and see what we can do here.
All right, who will it be? A Trio First lease has a maximum length of 3 years.
This is kind of a trick question too. You got to think about it before you answer. A Trio First lease has a maximum of 3 years. All right, 7 seconds left, folks. I see the answers are coming in.
Nice job. Who's going to win?
Okay. We're missing the music, aren't we?
Oh, we are.
Oh, that's
So
why.
sorry about that, guys.
No worries. Next time we will have the music.
Yes,
I promise.
yeah, we will.
So the correct answer here is it's actually a reality, right? Now, you can extend that lease for later on, but at the beginning, it is correct. Now I can hear the music. Terry gets the bronze. Maria gets the silver. And the gold, who's it gonna be? I have a feeling it's gonna be Steve Singleton.
Nice job, Steve, and everybody.
Emma, why don't we give the top 3 right here? Go ahead and send them a gift card. Let's go ahead and do that right away. Emma, thank you so much. And guys, we will come back and do another game here sometime in the middle of the next hour. But next, we're going to bring out our next guest. Emma, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Bye, everybody. Good luck.
Oh, I love that game. All right. I promise we will have more. Good job to everybody who won. Steve Singleton, #1 so far on the Trio leaderboard. All right. So next, we're going to go ahead and bring out Ken Gilliard. Let me see. I'm looking to see if he's in his camera. There he is. I know we're running a little bit late here, Ken. I apologize for that. How you doing today, Ken?
I'm good. What about yourself?
Good, thank you. So Ken is the president and senior loan officer of Top Choice Lending in the Houston area. And he's been working with us for maybe a year now or so, but he's doing fantastic business down there. And so we wanted to bring him on because he's doing things just a little bit different than everybody else. And you're really focusing on as a loan officer and as a lender, how to go ahead and build your business. So I kind of want to talk with you just a little bit about that. What are you doing to kind of connect those dots and helping customers and working with agents?
Well, for once, I realized that when I found this program, that there was a need for this program. And so I was very excited once I did my research to sign up with you guys and actually offer this program to my clientele. But then I realized that for me to offer this to my clients, I had to connect with realtors. And so connect with more realtors. And so I felt that this was a benefit to the realtors and to increase their sales and to also increase the number of applications that we were actually taking. So I felt it was important to actually reach out to more realtors, educate them on this program, and get it rocking.
Absolutely. So let's talk about how are you kind of building this relationship with agents out there right now. I think this is definitely increasing your business right now, but you're definitely reaching out to agents. What are you kind of doing to go ahead and do that?
Well, I realized that with agents, you have a lot of, they reach out to, they have a lot of clients that reach out to them, of course. And I realized that's going to be my #1 clientele is the agents rather than the clients. And so reaching out to them has been a breeze because they've never heard of a program as such. And even if they haven't heard of a program that is, this good. So I was excited to, introduce it to realtors, and realtors, when they get it and they see that they can reach out to their clientele that maybe wanted to lease a home at first, now they can actually do a lease to own and lease it to own it and have ownership in that property. It was a win-win situation.
That's fantastic. Now you're pretty busy
sure.
on social media, aren't you? You make videos and you do a lot of
Very.
different things. What are you kind of doing to reach out to those agents and even customers to go ahead and do that?
Well, as a mortgage broker or even a loan officer period, we get a influx of clients that apply. And with the clients that apply, you have more clients that don't necessarily qualify for a mortgage than you do that actually does qualify for a mortgage. So it gives clientele and realtors a way to still have the what's the word I'm looking for? The opportunity on the home and still be able to work on their financial situation to actually get ownership of their home after they get through with the program. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you had mentioned something when we spoke a little while ago about credit pools and working with customers that are kind of marginal. How is this kind of working for any sort of situation like that?
Well, of course, when I'm pulling the client's credit, I'm hopefully getting them to qualify for a regular mortgage. But when they don't necessarily qualify for a regular mortgage, so because of a certain situation, I'm able to walk them through the process, pull a credit, view their credit, say, hey, this is what you need to work on to actually own a home outright. But hey, while you aren't necessarily qualified for a regular mortgage, let's try this program through Trio and see if it works out for you.
That's fantastic. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what is kind of the best way? I know you are also tagged on this video. I'm going to go ahead and pull up this right here. Obviously, Ken is in the Houston market. He's the president and senior loan officer of Top Choice Lending. Do you prefer email? Do you prefer a phone number? Do you do Instagram and Facebook? What do you kind of prefer here?
I would say email is the best way to reach out to me because I do have an influx of people who call, text me throughout the day. And emailing, I'm able to keep track of those because at the end of the day or throughout the day, I'm in my emails. And so I'm able to respond. If I can't respond immediately, I get my assistant to respond, just to make sure that that client is responded to, for sure. So
absolutely.
If you don't reach me on email, you can most definitely reach me out on social media. That's always dinging on my cell phone, very, very social media savvy on all aspects. So of course I'm a millennial, so why not use it to my advantage? And so, I'm on Instagram a lot, I'm on Facebook a lot. And so I do videos on Instagram and Facebook. I'm on live right now on my Instagram as we speak, just to give clients that, are realtors, or even my team. I feel members on here right now that's listening to me so they can actually learn more about the Trio program and actually get more clientele that way as well.
How can somebody follow you on Instagram? What are your handles?
Oh, my Instagram handle. So my Instagram handle for my personal and I also use for my business is 381 _ Kennyman.
Okay.
And then the business one is at Top Choice Lending, which is very easy. Well, if you connect me on either one, I'll make sure to connect you on both because I do talk a lot on both Instagram and on both my regular personal one and my business page.
Well, that's fantastic. So definitely connect with him on Instagram. Obviously, he is in the Facebook group. You can connect with him there. But as he said, because like me, there's 900 different ways people can get in contact with you, right, Ken? So the best way to kind of keep track of all that would probably be an email, which is KenGilliard@topchoicelending.net, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Awesome.
That's correct.
Well, Ken, thank you so much for being here. I do really appreciate it. And just real quick, last question for you. And this is hopefully an easy one. How easy is it to kind of close a home with Trio as a lender?
Oh, it's as easy. As a lender, it's as easy as just chilling at the house like I am right now and watching some ESPN. That's how easy it is. It's very it's easy. Once you get a client approved and submit through the process, basically as a lender, I'm basically sit back and kick back and relax, unless I have to step in and help them out. But it's very, very, very rare.
That's fantastic. So, yeah, I don't think everybody quite realizes that before a lender, it's an even easier process, right? And so, why wouldn't you want to participate? And this is the only rent to own, lease to own program that you can participate in. So, it's just going to be extra business for you. So, again, Ken, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the Friday and a great weekend. Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
Have a great one. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Again, that was Ken Gilliard with Top Choice Lending, the president and senior loan officer in the Houston market. He's doing a lot of great work, helping a lot of customers. He does already a lot of work, a lot of volume, but he's now found a way to go ahead and add Trio to this to go ahead and just obviously increase that. All right, our next guest is, let me go ahead and bring him out here. You've probably talked with him before. If you're a loan officer, you may have seen him on our Trio Talks before. This is Tom Morelli, the National Sales Director of Land Home Financial. How are you doing today, Tom?
Well, it's Friday, so I'm doing well.
Well, it looks like you're feeling very patriotic there. I love it. So
I thought I was going to change rooms.
Now, Tom, where are you based? I know you're national, but just so you know, if anybody knows, where are you kind of based?
I'm actually in Denver, Colorado. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, the last time I talked to you, it was 72 degrees, and it's like 20 right now.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear that. I was going to say it's going to drop 25 degrees this weekend for us, but 60 degrees or 70 or whatever that number is, that's quite a dramatic drop there. So I hope you're staying warm right now, and just a different world out there. But I think this also goes to show the reason why I'm saying that is because we're coming to you from everyone who's listening today. We have people in 3 or 4 different time zones coming today, and Trio is obviously moving and shaking. We're moving all over the country, so really, really exciting there. But Tom, we have some things I definitely want to start talking about, and Ken kind of answered it, but I'm going to ask you, how easy is it for a loan officer to close a home with Trio?
It's and thanks, Ken, for kind of stealing my thunder. But I was telling Aaron just the other day, we closed 4 or 5. We funded 4 or 5 Trio loans in the month of September, and I didn't even know they were there. And I was just putting my numbers together to have a staff meeting, and I was like, Trio. Because I go through all this, and I was like, wow, so that it is probably the easiest loan a loan officer could deal with in the sense that once you learn the Trio process, which is so easy, it's kind of frightening. It's such an easy process, really devoted to your customer development, and is that you don't have to worry about dealing with me, the lender, okay? You don't. And it takes away that second shock of, I got you pre-qualified. Oh, I got you declined. Once the it happens, once the Trio approval comes out, you're good. It really is. As long as that house meets the Trio regulations and meets the loan guidelines, you're done. There's nothing else that you're going to have to do, and that, well, move in. You have to help your clients move in, but that's it, right? So it's super simple.
I think Ken said it right. He's watching ESPN and checking his fantasy football scores and able to close a home with Trio, right? And right. So, and like you said, you closed 5 homes, and it obviously didn't cause any sort of ripple effect or any sort of concern or anything in your office, right? And that's one of the beautiful parts of it right there. And so again, folks, remember, we're the only lease to own, rent to own company that can go ahead and be involved with any sort of lenders. That's because we are not a Wall Street investor. We're investing in the customer here, and that is by going ahead and purchasing that home using an assumable FHA loan. Now, you mentioned something really interesting there, Tom. I want to ask you, who does the loan officer communicate for all of Trio's closings?
This is the best part, Trio. They talk to Trio, right? And when we first started working with Trio, when I first started working with Trio, we kind of took this on, and I started training my account executives. I started training our loan officers. I started training new brokers, our correspondent, sellers we've trained and stuff like that. And I found a real big issue with that is that they started asking us questions I can't answer. And so I've kind of made the shift of, you know what, we're a silent partner in this transaction. And now when we sign people up, my first thing that I really want to emphasize is join the Trio training programs, join your guys' webinars that you have weekly, and do them multiple times, because the more you learn or relearn on this program, it just becomes easier for you to do it. One of the other guests was talking about how people, you're promoting homeownership, and Ken kind of brought it in where, hey, you don't qualify for a house right now, but I can get you into a Trio program while you're getting yourself kind of fixed up or repaired or whatever, get the dents out. You can you can go in and actually have that home. So it's extra
you're still
incentive.
living in that home during that part, right? You're still getting the home, which is, for a lot of people right now during COVID, I think that's obviously very, very important, right? Want to make sure they're feeling safe and that they have the space for their family and everything. And like you said, while people are starting to kind of work out any sort of financial issues or anything like that, this allows them that time. And so we've always kind of joked around that this is kind of like home ownership with training wheels, right? Somebody's there along the way kind of helping you out, and then once you're ready to go, we take the training wheels off and you go riding by yourself, right? Yeah, it's probably one of the most dynamic programs that a loan officer and a real estate agent can be part of. It's that we deal with so many clients and so many customers that we want to help and we just can't. This is just that extra step, that extra tool in our toolbox that gets that extra person or people into homes, and it just starts that whole relationship and starts home ownership going forward, and it's just a positive experience for everybody. Absolutely. Now, you talked about onboarding and the training and everything like that. Why don't we kind of go over that? Obviously, there's two channels that people can go through. They can go through correspondent or wholesale, but just kind of when you're talking with a loan officer, just kind of go over what that conversation's like. And for any agents out there, remember, get your loan officers involved with this, because then you're going to create a system for yourself, and you're going to have a great way to go ahead and help customers with applications. And now you've got helping a fellow colleague also build their business, right? Tom, how do you go ahead and talk with a loan officer? The first conversation you had, you obviously said go through the training, but what are some of the important things that they should know about?
Well, first of all, realize that you have to be an approved broker or seller with Land Home to complete the Trio transaction if you want to get paid, right? So if compensation is important to you, you do need to become in the wholesale channel one of our approved brokers. And of course, what? I do this for free. And as a seller, there's that compensation as well as in there too. But you need a home to sell it, and that's where Land Home comes in, and we're excited about being that partner. We like the product, across the board. How do I talk to LOs? Is that we like this product so much because Land Home. We've been open 30 plus years, and we've always been devoted towards home ownership. Whatever the programs are that we participate in, this just takes our toolbox and loads it up. So when I'm talking to people about Trio and how we're onboarding is, first of all, I talk about the program and how the basics are. Really, I kind of leave it up to Aaron and company to get it into the nuts and bolts, but I talk about the basics of it. And who do you look to? Because as loan officers and agents, we have all kinds of clients. We have drawers full of people that we couldn't help. Well, there's your first source of business. So start thinking about that. The other source is don't forget about Trio. We all realize, oh, I got the FHA loan, I got the Fannie product, I got Freddie, I got a super conforming, I got non-QM, all these other products in my hat, and I've taken time to learn these as a loan officer. You got to put Trio up there at the beginning. You really need to, because there are so many times that you're working with a client and you're just, you've struggled through the process because you're devoted to these people, right? They're good people and things. You get in there, and that's what makes us all good loan officers and agents, is we work with our people. Well, this tool allows you to take it that next step. You don't qualify to own a home today, but in 2-3 years, you're a perfect match. Well, it takes forever for all of us to save. So why don't we get you into this lease option, this own option program? You can be fixing everything that you need to right now, or maybe it's just seasoning income. It could be as simple as that, seasoning an income source. Let's get that to where it's easy for you. You're in the home you want. You can just assume the loan or get a new one, depending on the rates in the market, and you can do it. But don't forget about that with your next client. Don't forget about it when you talk to somebody on the phone and say, hey, ooh, you don't sound like you're going to qualify, so I can't help you. Stop and think about the Trio program. You really kind of should, have those double checklists there to where, yep, they meet this. Yep. Oh, they don't meet this, but they meet it over here on the Trio side. It's something that I recommend to all the loan officers that are interested in Trio. You got to think about it all the time. Declines. Think about your declines. It might fit that program. Think about the ones that you had 6 months ago too.
No, that's a perfect way to kind of think about it, right? I whenever I talk with agents and lenders, a lot of them have done one transaction, but like you said, they kind of forget about it, right? And they're always thinking about the current transaction and what's required for that. But they should always kind of have this on the sideline, just as a checklist. Okay, are they going to be able to qualify for this? If not, there's option B, right? There's the Trio option to make sure that customer is always going to be satisfied. And I talk with loan officers a lot as well, and I always ask them, "Hey, how's business right now?" And they're obviously very, very busy with refinance, right? Mm-hmm. And I always ask them, "Hey, who's kind of working with any sort of customer out there that has been denied any sort of loan?" And they said, "Well, right now we just don't have the time for it. They don't have the bandwidth, right? Right. But they would love to have somebody reach out to them." So I have a couple of agents that you've probably heard me say this 1,000 times. Anytime I say this, definitely want to reach out to those loan officers and say, "Hey, can I help you with any sort of loan denials out there?" Right? This would be a great way to make sure that, right? We just want to make sure that you get that extra opportunity. So we do have a lot of customers out there that unfortunately, or a lot of agents, I should say, that aren't doing that. But the ones that are, it's a great way for leads, right? It's a great way to make a connection and help out a fellow colleague and yourself as well, right? So, I think forgetting about Trio is a very common thing. It must be something. It's probably one of those COVID symptoms that we're talking about. Maybe so a lot in the news, right?
So, one of the things I kind of just thought about there is, we're all busy right now with business. All of us are just busy with business right now, right? Ken just told us that, he's kicking back and watching ESPN while the Trio loan's happening. Think about that. You can actually take a client that you've worked with that you can't work with on the loan side anymore. You work them through, take the 10 minutes to go through the Trio program so that Trio can start working with them. You go on to your next customer, and then Trio will make you call and say, "Hey, we're getting ready to close this deal for you."
Absolutely. I'm sorry, I'm getting some messages here and some questions. I do want to bring this up. So how does a loan officer start working with Trio? Well, there's 2 steps, right? Right. And one of these is pretty brand new. And what we kind of noticed here at Trio is a lot of the loan officers weren't necessarily in our system. So we definitely couldn't send them leads. We weren't having that communication. Plus, they weren't necessarily going through our full training. You and I definitely talked with them, but that's not the full training. We want to make sure that they understand the full closing process. And that way I can definitely tell the difference between the agents that kind of done that as opposed to the ones that I've just talked with, you know,
Right.
because they understand the full process now, and they're running smooth on that. And so for those earlier agents, I apologize, but it's there now. It's ready for you. So if you are a loan officer, please go ahead and register with us on the website at Trio Residential. Go through our full training if you haven't already. And I guess a great way to kind of advertise the second session is that we are going to be going through that full training. So that way, if you have any sort of questions about, you know, the application, the underwriting, the transaction and closing process, we'll be able to go ahead and answer that for you this afternoon. The second part of that is, like you said, Tom, Land Home has to go ahead and get that approved. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's real simple. Both our websites, the Trio website and the Land Home websites, all have a link that you can click on to request to become approved to offer the Trio program. Remember that if you're a loan officer, talk to your owner, talk to your corporation to make sure that it's okay that you're asking for a broker package or a seller package to be delivered, and who to deliver it to. It's very important that we know that. The process is really simple to get approved. You know, it's a regular broker package. You do have to become an FHA sponsored lender with us as a broker. You have to be you know, delegated FHA if you're a seller. So it's really simple. And the reason that you have to become an approved broker is so that it's an FHA loan that you're getting paid on. You guys got to realize that your name as a loan officer at the closing table is going to have your name is going to be on the 1003. So it's really important that you're an approved lender with us, so that we can pay you. How it gets taken care of, you know, it's you know, it's the normal 355 page package. No, it's like 60, and you know, 5 signatures. And you know, we'll approve you, and we'll approve you just for Trio if that's how it is. You know, and you know, I'll get in there and work on you for the rest, but we'll approve you just for Trio, and you know, it works. And if you're with a big company, it's okay. I haven't told Patrick yet, but one of the clients that he sent me the 2 weeks ago, one of the loan officer branch managers went to their corporate, and corporate has said no. I don't know how many times, but they actually completed the broker package yesterday. So
Yay!
yeah, I think that's actually a big win, because they are in all the states that Trio is actually operating today. So there's a big win and advantage there. So I'm actually
how long?
excited
So I
about
guess
that.
how long does that process take? I mean, I've seen it as fast as 5 minutes just responding over email.
Right.
And I've seen it, obviously this one, I'm not sure which one this is, but I can take a guess. It's been 9 months now or
No,
so.
this one actually is pretty good. It's only been 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So, but you know, you got to think about it. It's really that the branch manager had to work through the corporate, and they had to talk about the product and show the product and work with them. They had to, you know, I had to give them all the Land Home information so that their corporate office knew who they were dealing with and how it worked. So, you know, it can happen in 24 hours. The package is an e-signed document. So as soon as we get it back, our approval team is going to jump on it. It's all done in our house, so not outside, no cost to get that done. So it's very simple. You know, this one here just took a little bit longer because of the number of levels that you have to go through to get people to approve. Sometimes you actually got to go to the board, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Tom, I'm going to put your confirmation, your contact information up here. Again, this is Tom Morelli, Land Home Financial Services National Sales Director. This is the best way to go ahead and get in contact with Tom. And we always recommend, you know, if you have a loan officer or if you're a lender yourself and you want to go ahead and come on board with Trio, start that process early, right? We want to make sure, because sometimes it can take a little, you know, go ahead and obviously, like you said, get through those different layers of the onion to get to the person who's actually going to be signing this particular document and agreeing upon this, right? And so that's always the wonderful thing. Tom, what do you prefer, email or phone number?
You know, I am on the phone 24 hours a day, so I will call you back. Email is always the best because it's there in front of me all the time. But either or, it doesn't matter to me.
No problem. So just a reminder, this is Tom. He is with Land Home Financial Services, our direct lender here at Trio. So I'm getting some questions. Is he a mortgage company or a builder or a loan officer? So he's the National Sales Director for Land Home Financial, which is our direct lender right here. Somebody's asking, how do they get the training? And I love to hear that. Go to trioresidential.com. If you go ahead and there's the webinar tab. You can go and sign up for those. They're normally every Thursday, so we'll have some next Thursday. You can also go ahead and sign up as a lender. That way you're on all our newsletters and everything like that. trioresidential.com. There's a lender tab there as well. But this afternoon during session 2, we definitely have a deep down dive into the customer application, the underwriting, and the Trio transaction and closing process for you. Okay. Well, Tom, I want to thank you so much for coming on. Thank you very, very much. I do really appreciate it.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you guys at Trio and everybody. This is a product that will just add to your portfolio. So it's go for it. Have a good day, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tom. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye-bye.
All right. Up next, we have a big announcement. So Emma, are we all set to go here? Fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and bring Daryl on here with a big announcement. Number 1. Here we go.
Hey, this is Daryl again. For my first session in the morning when you heard me chat, we were talking about 2020 and what happened with COVID. And what we all know is that there's a huge issue coming up with folks that are in forbearance. And unfortunately, it's going to be challenging for a lot of people to hang on to their homes. And what I want to mention to you is that when the housing crisis happened, back in 07, 08, we actually developed a program to help families keep their homes. And in those days, and still now, it's called Trio Next. And we worked with Treasury, the US Treasury Department, and Bank of America when we developed the program. And what it does is it helps families stay in their home when they are not able to get a refinance. And back in those days, it was a short sale. So that program, we are renovating it, making some changes to it, and it will be available for households that do have challenges getting a refinance done if they're not able to get their forbearance program, back on track, if you will. And many of you may understand that mortgage servicers are the ones that are really in control of that. And so some servicers are terrific, they do a great job, and they follow the rules. Other services, I'm sorry to say, don't. And we saw that in the crisis, and we're anticipating that coming up in 2021. So if any of you do end up hearing from prior customers, folks that are in their homes that are struggling and they're under forbearance now, please don't forget about our program. We'll be talking more about it as the year progresses, and we'll be doing a broader release, an actual release of the program. But today we wanted to make sure all of you guys were aware of that program, just in case you need to be able to help somebody who's out there in a house right now that is struggling, to make their payments. They went into forbearance, and it may be the case that their servicer will not work with them the way that they should in helping them overcome those forbearance issues and get back on track with an affordable payment. Some of the servicers are going to add a repayment plan that's going to be too hard for some families to make it, and they're going to fall behind and face foreclosure. So we want to ensure that every American that can out there that's in a home can stay in their house, since they face something that they really didn't control with COVID. So thanks a lot. Keep that in mind, and let's keep the day going.
Thanks, Daryl. I want to go ahead and show the new Trio Next symbol. Like I said, we're kind of bringing back this program. This is something that was, it kind of came out as a necessity, right? And this is something that is obviously very, very important. We've reached out to HUD and our government housing agencies and asked them, do you think this is something that it would be necessary? And in all honesty, the first response I got back was, not so sure just yet. We're kind of trying to figure something out. And then literally the next week, they all wrote back and said, actually, yeah, we may need this, right? So we don't quite know what's going to be happening, right, with COVID. And so we just have this as a just in case. And again, Trio always seems to be offering new opportunities and other tools in your toolkit. This is going to be one of those. So we'll be sending out emails. We'll be sending out information about this, and we'll probably talk about this fully on one of our Trio talks here in the next couple of weeks. But just so that you're aware, this is going to be offered again, and it's going to be available in all our different markets. And that is called, again, Trio Next. Hope you like the symbol. It's quite fun. So, all right. I'm going to bring on my next guest, somebody who I don't think needs an introduction, so I'm just not going to introduce him. And that is Don Chakowski. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you, Aaron?
Good, good. How's Notre Dame doing so far?
Well, undefeated #3 in the country, so not so bad. So
that's not bad at all. So if you've ever met Don before, you'll notice his jacket there in the background. I think it's a jacket or a jersey of Notre Dame.
It's a autographed Lou Holtz sweater from one of the games. So when Lou was the coach.
Who's Lou Holtz?
Yeah, he's kind of a big deal.
Well, Don, thanks so much for joining us. So this is Don Chakowski. He is the Assistant Vice President and Director of Channel Sales at Fidelity National Title in Maricopa County. So, Don, thank you so much for joining us. And you and I are obviously on Zoom and different platforms and Facebook Live and StreamYard quite often. So this feels very familiar. So I'm going to ask you a question that you've probably answered a lot of times, but more locally. So I want to make sure that everybody kind of who's joining us today. And right now we have about 80 people in the room, which is really fantastic, all over the country. Why is Fidelity choosing to work with Trio? Why Trio?
Well, first, let me thank you for having me part of Trio Palooza. I was waiting for the bands, though, at some point. It was a rock going. No, I appreciate it, Aaron. Thank you very much. You know, it's funny. You and I have talked about this a few times, and people who are close to me have heard the story. So our sales manager, Sharon Terhune, reached out to me with some information that you guys had been in contact with her and referred by Fidelity in Las Vegas. And she's like, well, why don't we look into these guys? They want to get together and chat, and let's see if this is a good option for our partners. And I was very skeptical. I took some time, I did some research, and by the time, it was about 2 weeks out till our actual, our first call. And I had, pages of questions already written out for you guys because,
I remember.
Yeah, I've become very familiar with a lot of programs that offer lease to own, or maybe aren't even programs. They're just kind of some homespun ideas by investors. I've also sat in seminars where they've talked about how the idea is to get somebody to come in and put a big amount of money down. They'll never be able to qualify and take over the home, and so then they lose that down payment. Then you bring the next person in. So I've actually sat in seminars where people were being trained to do this. And, I think one of the most important things that we can do is look out for our clients. And so looking out for them is a number one priority, our consumer clients, right? As well as our real estate partners for Fidelity. But I think that, if we're out there peddling something that is not good for the consumer, that's not good for anybody. And so I was all ready with all these questions. I was firing away at you and Patrick, and I was just, as I was making my notes, as I was going through, I was like, oh, that's a really good answer. Wait, that's how they do that. And this is how.
Don't give Patrick credit for this. I was the
right, yeah. We let him hang out with us that day, but I was so impressed. Yeah, I was so impressed and so excited to see that there was by Trio a concern for the clients, right? That this is a path to become a successful homeowner and to realize the investment and the opportunity around home ownership. And I was very impressed after that call. Obviously, we dove head first in after that, and we've built what's been a great partnership over the last year and a half. So we appreciate it, and I'm very thankful that we're here and partnered with you guys today.
Well, thanks, Don, and we love working with you guys. You guys are a fantastic partner, and there's a lot of great things, and we're going to talk about those right now, why we like working with you. But you just talked about something that I think is really important, and that you know, there are other options out there. And I just had an agent call me last week and said, I've got a customer who wants to do a lease to own, but they're asking for, get ready for it, $75,000 to get into that lease to own.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
The most I've ever heard. And, you know, I've heard 15, 20, 25,
Right.
even 30,000, but nothing like that. And that is just shocking. And they said, tell me about the TRIO program. My title rep told me I should give you a call. And she was so excited, right? You know, I mean, and I'm sure her customer is now super excited as well, right? And so, you know, that's not what you're going to get with our program, obviously. But let's go ahead and change subject and talk about the importance of what does it take to be a good title company, and what is it that you offer us? And I have got a couple of good answers, but I think the first one I want to talk about is processing. Why don't you go ahead and talk about that? What you guys that do that's a little bit different for us than other companies?
Well, you know, it's funny. My running joke is that, you know, I don't actually do title or escrow. I'm just a pretty face, and so, but I am very fortunate to be surrounded by a great team, and so when it comes to these transactions, you know, one of the things that we walked away from that phone call with was that there was going to be a need for some additional training for our team. So we selected certain offices and certain escrow officers that we wanted to put through that training. And the reality is we wanted to find a way to be able to say yes. And I think that as a company, that is one of our objectives. How do we make things work? Right. So not how, you know, the obstacles are, well, this came up here and that came up there. But as a company, it's like, how do we make it work and still be a win for everybody involved? And so with that training and with our folks, I think that is where we bring a lot of value, that our team is focused on making sure the consumer is well taken care of in the process, the seller is well taken care of in the process, the loan officers are well taken care of in the process, and that those systems that are in place are there to make sure that this is as seamless as possible on both ends. It's not a huge change from the systems that we've already created, but there are some nuances, and some of those nuances are really important. That if somebody doesn't know how to deal with them or what they are, then it can certainly complicate a transaction and push it back weeks for closing.
You know, something that you guys do that, let's just first say we've worked with other title companies. They do a good job, right? But they don't do everything that you guys do, right? And we've noticed that things like ordering the HOA docs or making sure the home warranty order form, those sort of things, which, you know, if they're not in place, can be a back and forth a couple days because of that, right? And we have noticed that when we're not using Fidelity or any of the Fidelity family brands, that the transactions definitely take a couple extra days, right? And that's always really important to kind of point out. And so in terms of processing and in terms of you know, training with people and having everybody involved and having that checklist, like you said, Don, super, super important. I kind of want to piggyback off of that and talk about something that I really think is important that you guys do. And you're not just worried about the transaction and the customer, but you're really there to help that agent build their business. Is that right?
Absolutely. So when I first started working at Fidelity, it's about 6.5 years ago, I came in not knowing much about title and escrow and that whole process. And thank goodness I didn't get grilled a whole lot about it, because it would have been pretty embarrassing. But what I did learn is that people wanted help in growing their businesses. They wanted new and fresh ideas, and they wanted to have access to systems that maybe otherwise they wouldn't know how or have access to. So and lead generation is a big piece of that. And so as we are looking to partner with the agents who would like to see us involved in their transactions, then that is going to be a big part of what they get at Fidelity National Title. That we are going to be a partner in their growth, and we are going to be providing them with the tools and resources to get where they want and achieve the goals that they've set for themselves in this business. The TRIO's been a big part of that. You know, that's what, when we are able to provide information for renters. Now, and here's the thing. So there's a lot of different rules in a lot of different parts of the country. And so Arizona is at times known as the Wild Wild West. So some of the things I discussed, if you're not in Arizona, I don't know for sure would be available through your title partner in other states. So I just want to preface with that, because I've done some other national events, and I've got a little
just to kind of point out, I've noticed just working with even the different Fidelity family brands in the same city, they'll have different sort of rules and things. So, it's important to kind of do that research and find who you're comfortable working with. But yes, the rules do change, sometimes crossing county lines, state lines, and just in the same city. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So, but one of the things, and Aaron's been a really big piece of this, is that we started out with how do we support our people who've now come through the training. We put together several trainings, and at the time we were able to do in-person trainings, and we put together several in-person trainings. We brought in groups of 8 to 10 people, dug into Trio, and then from there we like, okay, now we need to be following up with these people, because they'll just fall off, right? Because you were talking about with your last guest, is keeping it top of mind is important as well, right? Because it's very easy to get involved with all these other transactions, but you want to keep Trio top of mind as an option for so many of your other people who run into issues. So we went to so we created a Facebook group, and in that group, it's a private group, and we invite people who are certified with Trio, and they've gone through the training and they understand it. We have a meeting twice a month. And we have a segment for people who are new to the program, and we have a segment for people who are experienced and really a mastermind opportunity. It's been great, and we get a lot of feedback. We have a lot of people who disappear on us for a little while because they get so busy, and we love that. We miss them, but we love the fact that they're busy selling houses, and then some come back every so often here and there, and it's just been really such a great support system and a great way to help those people be and stay successful. We have provided a lot of information regarding lead generation, and I tell you, and the market's hot everywhere, right? So and it's always kind of a little extra joke in Phoenix that it's hot because we had 62 days over 110 degrees this year. But it is really crazy here, and people lined up to see houses for open houses, and it has just been really something. But when you want to talk to people, you want to lead generate, this is such a great tool as well. Whether this is going to be a great fit for them, or whether it's going to be a fit for their family or their friends, knowing that options like this are available out there is probably one of the best lead generation things we can do. And we've spent a lot of time teaching our partners how to do Facebook ads, how to lead generate through those type of systems. We're working on some tools around Craigslist and a lot of things that will help our partners to have more people to talk to, more potential buyers, and have a higher conversion rate, because they don't have to let those people go who've got some dinged up credit or have some trouble documenting their income or things like that. So having this as a resource is great, and consumer centric, which is my favorite part.
Absolutely. And your marketing at Fidelity is just fantastic. I mean, you guys have so many great tools, especially, and I forget what it's called. Is it called Fidelity One app? Is that one?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That app is fantastic. And if you're an agent, you should absolutely be using it, because it's stupidly easy and a fantastic resource to go ahead and be using to help customers with flyers and social media, as well as helping them figure out a lot of different things. But I really like the marketing that you guys provide. Obviously, between B2B, this Facebook group that you started, I don't know, maybe 5-6 months ago, something like that. It's been really, really fantastic. And it's a great way for agents to go ahead and connect. It's a great way for them to quickly ask questions and to share experiences. And, well, I heard this, and this is what happened with me, and things like that. And that's always really, really fantastic. But the farming of leads that you guys provide is just, it doesn't even compare to anything else that I've seen. And your branch particularly is maybe even a little bit step further in that, but hoping you can kind of talk about those leads that you guys are farming and how you do that.
Yeah, so we've got a few different resources and tools that we're able to bring together to get us contact information. So when it comes to reaching out to renters, we have a great tool that we're leveraging to get phone numbers, email addresses, and approximate credit scores of current renters, and so that's an internal tool that we have access to, and I would encourage you to reach out to your title partner if you're not in Arizona. If you are in Arizona, I'm the only title partner you need, but myself and our team. But I would encourage you to reach out to your title partner to check with them to see if they have access to the same tools that we do. Encourage them to reach out to me if they have questions about getting set up with something like that. But it is a great tool where we're able to target those people. And Brad or Aaron, you were part of it. One of our agents were making some calls, and he's great. He is so good about sharing. He actually Facebook lived it into our Facebook group of going out and making calls. It was one of my favorite. Was he called and he asked for a young lady, and he got the ex-boyfriend of the young lady, and so he's like, well, it's not, he's like, that's my ex-girlfriend, and also somehow his phone number ended up on the stuff. And he's like, well, I'm just curious, like, what is it that you wanted to talk to her about with this? And so they end up in this conversation. They set an appointment for the next day as a buyer consult, and he went out shopping for a house within a couple of days. I love that, and again, people willing to share, and the fact that this was done Facebook live streaming into our Facebook group, and so everybody got to have that experience and learn from that, and be that much better from it. We also have, on the listing side, when we are looking for those listing opportunities, right now inventory is short everywhere as well. So it's not just here in Arizona where we don't have enough inventory. So if you're able to reach out to those areas where they have homes that would fit into the buy box, we have predictive analytics that will tell us who's likely to sell, and it's using over 100 data points to kind of figure out who is likely to sell. But it's everything from their equity, how long they've been in the house, their internet behavior. Are they going onto Zillow and Realtor.com? Are they looking at properties there? So we've got tools that will help with that. We also have skip tracing software that we have access to, so we can get phone numbers and email addresses for all of those folks. So having a partner one of my favorite sayings in this business is, because everybody's got great tools and great resources, right? But if we wrap those in best practices, that's where we're going to have our best success, right? So having great tools, great resources, wrap them in best practices, and be able to show people how to win with them, then that's going to lead to more successful agents.
Absolutely. And I'm going to put up your contact information up here, yes. But I do want to say this. On those weekly calls or those bi-weekly calls in the Facebook group, and there's, I think you have a team of 5 or maybe 6 people from Fidelity helping agents. So if Don's not available and you can't get in touch with Don, there's Tammy, there's Andrew, right? There's Samantha. There's several different people out there that can absolutely help you out. So you've got a whole team of people trying to help you build your business. So Don, what do you prefer? Do you prefer email, phone number? What's good for you?
Probably email's the best, because I'm often on the go and I don't get to look at my phone a lot. And it's funny. My thing I don't like about text messages is you can't leave them as unread, and so then they get buried and I forget about it to go back. So, but with my email, I can do that, and when I can have some opportunity to sit down and get people plugged in to the tools and resources, and I realize my last name is not super easy, but I'm also tagged on this event, so you can reach out to me through Facebook Messenger. You can hit me up in email. And I'm happy, and I've got a Vegas phone number, even though I'm here in Arizona. So, okay. My phone likes to party, but yeah. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to get you plugged in. If you're not working with a Fidelity brand, I'm happy to help you get plugged into other brands that have the same tools and resources outside of Arizona that we have access to here as well.
That's fantastic. And he's obviously tagged on this Facebook post right now, on this Facebook Live. So you can definitely reach out to him there. And Don is has tons of great information about Facebook ads and Facebook posts and do's and don'ts. And he's done all the A/B tests, and he's spent the money so you don't have to, right? So so that you don't have to do anything bad. So Don, thank you again so much for joining us. I really do appreciate it. And I really do appreciate all the business that we do together. Thanks so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good luck to everybody out there. This is a great program. Make sure you're leveraging it.
All right. Thanks, Don. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
All right, folks. We have a couple more minutes here left, and I know we've kind of gone over in this first one. I'm sorry. I'm a chatty Cathy. So let me go ahead and bring out Emma again. Hey, Emma. Oh, you're on mute.
My bad.
But we are going to good. We're going to do another game. So I know there were a couple people the first time that had some trouble kind of logging on. It's only the first 20 people, and there's a lot of people in this room right now. So it's only going to be the first 20 people. So just to give everybody a heads up, go to kahoot.it, not kahoot.com, kahoot.it. That's KAHOOT.IT. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring this out so we can go ahead and do this. So here is the game pin number. It is 539653. And please, this time, put your full name, first and last name. Maria won last time, but we don't know how to get in touch with Maria. Maria, I don't know your last name. So please put your first and last name when you guys are going ahead and doing this. So again, kahoot.it. Go ahead and put this in there. We have there's a Maria. I don't know if it's the same one. I'm gonna assume it is, but if you could go ahead and put in the Facebook group if that is correct, please let us know, because we'd love to send you your prize from last time. Okay. All right. We have 8 people in the room. Again, we have a total of 20. All right. Ooh, now 11. All right. So the room is filling up. Only a couple more. Look at Terry. She wants to win again. I can see it. I can see it. See it, Terry. All right. Colleen. Oh, nice of you to join us, Colleen. Good to see you. All right. 12 people. A couple more people. Come on. Here we go. Oh, do we have the music? We don't hear the music right now, or is the music just down?
Do we have the music set? Is that a good volume?
Yeah, that's a good volume.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes it a little bit more fun there. Jenny. All right. Anthony's been very busy on Facebook today. So I was expecting Anthony to join. I hope you do. Oh, and Maria says that is her. So Maria Deemer. Okay. And who won last time? Steve, right?
Steve did, yes.
Steve, please email marketing@thinktrio.com with your contact information. For some reason, I don't know if it's underneath a different name, but it wasn't coming up in our system. So please do that. Hank H. Somebody. Okay, 2 more spots, folks. Kelly Shaw. Oh, Kelly, nice of you to join us. Hank's in the witness protection program. That's why he only uses his last middle initial there. All right. A couple more. No? All right. Why don't we go ahead and get started here? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
All right. So this is Trio Trivia right now.
Okay. Why don't you take the first one?
All right. What is the transaction fee for a referral with Trio? 15, 20, 25, or $4,000? Or I guess the first 3 were percentages, my fault.
15%, 20%, 25%, or $4,000. Or just a gift card. That's, that could be option 5 there, right? What? Only 2 people voted? What's going on here? All right. But somebody got it correct. And the correct answer is 25%. Nick, nice job. All right.
Awesome.
Let's go on to question number 2. When do I submit the referral? Is it 1, as soon as the agent talks to the customer, blue, before the customer completes the application, yellow, after the customer completes the application, or green, what referral? Only 3 people answered this time, but the correct answer is after the customer completes the application, right? You can't turn it in before that. You have to wait until the customer completes the application. All right. Nick is taking a commanding lead. Is everybody else having an issue? I don't see any comments about it, but Yeah. All right. Let's go on to question number 3 here.
Perfect. Do agents have to take training and pass an exam to be a TRIO preferred agent? Red, no. Blue, yes. Yellow, there's an exam. Green, there's training. Uh-oh.
Oh, people are saying there is a bit of a delay, but you do have 20 seconds to answer these.
All right, nice job.
Okay. Good. People are catching up. Awesome. Nick is just really, he's taking a commanding lead, but I think Judy and Hank can catch up with him. All right. Here we go. Question number 4. What is TRIO's minimum credit score and household monthly income requirement? Is it red, 620 credit score, $3,600 a month? Is it blue, 580 credit score, $3,600 a month? Is it yellow, 550 credit score and $4,000? Or is it green, 795 and $4,000? Oh, look at all the smart people in the room. I love to see that. It's blue, a 580 credit score and $3,600 total household income.
Maria's back
Ooh,
up.
look at that. There you go. See, there you go. But Nick is on fire. All right.
TRIO's marketing provides the following tools for agents, except red, authorized use of logos and colors, blue, customizable TRIO flyers, yellow, TRIO business card templates, or green, social media videos.
It's much more fun with the music.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Nice job.
There you go. All right, Terry and Hank moving up. Uh-oh. Better watch out, Maria. You're only about 40 points ahead. All right, let's go into the next question here.
Perfect.
Where can you find TRIO's marketing materials? Red, ThinkTrio.com. Blue, me, Aaron. Yellow, your local library. Or green, TRIOResidential.com. No, wait, no, it's that one right there. There we go.
Said Aaron.
Awesome. You actually can, but yes, trioresidential.com is the answer we were looking for. So let's see. How did we do? Who was number? Oh, Hank. Nice job, Hank. Silver, Maria Deemer. And gold. Uh-oh. Who's it going to be? Nick. Great job, everybody. Man, Maria is just like raking it in. She's going to be like this with gift cards this afternoon.
One surprise, yeah.
Yeah. So great job, Maria. We love to see that. Great job, Nick and Hank. Thank you so much. You'll be sent a gift card here shortly. So Emma, what is the next thing on our docket? Don't we have a quick little video here from Daryl?
We do, yes. Let me grab that.
Oh, no problem. I guess this is the part we didn't practice, did we?
All right.
That's all right.
I got it up whenever you're ready.
All right, let's go ahead and go.
Perfect.
Here we go, folks.
Hey, everybody. It's Daryl Lewis again. Just want to thank you. I know it's been a great morning, a lot of learning, a lot of great speakers, and thank you so much for your attention this morning. Hey, just a note that this afternoon, we're going to have a great program for all of you, especially agents that are looking at, diving deeper into the details around our business. This afternoon is all for you. We're going to have a lot of information that Patrick and Lindsay and others may join in terms of assisting. So please, if you're signed up for that, stick around or come back, I should say, this afternoon and dive in and pay attention to those details. The other thing I want to encourage all of you to do is to think outside the box. That's what we do every day at TRIO. This program is all about outside the box. And when you're thinking outside the box, it's how do you contact those customers that could use your services? And for us, it's those customers that are out of reach for a mortgage right now. The TRIO benefits so dramatically. The equity that they earn, the down payment funds we provide is unlike any other program out there. So think outside the box and how you market to your customers. Think, who are those folks out there in my neighborhood that could use this program, that are renting right now, that are coming out of college? Maybe you're a participant in an alumni association. Think about how to contact that. Aaron and his team, They'll help you with whatever sort of marketing materials you might need, introductions, PowerPoint slides, classes, you name it. We're here to help you guys build your business and to really be successful at what you do. So thanks again, and we look forward to the end of this morning program and to this afternoon.
Thanks so much, Daryl. Well, like you said, session 1 is just about over. I just want to make sure to remind you to join us for session 2 that starts at 2 p.m. Pacific time. I know we went over a little bit, but still it's going to give you an hour and 45 minutes to go ahead and call customers, make some transactions, help a customer with an application, whatever it might be. So in session 2, this is what you can expect. From 2 to 4 p.m. Pacific time, right here, same places, Facebook group, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope. It's going to be in all those places. We're going to go over the tools and calculators. Those seem to be really important issues for a lot of people, and especially as they're trying to make sure, is this the best deal for my customer? Please pay attention to that. We're going to be going over the application and underwriting process. Obviously, the transactions and closing. We're going to go everything there. So it's a great time to go ahead and ask questions. Big announcement number 2 will be coming up. So if you're an agent, please stick around for that. Super, super important. And then finally, of course, games and prizes. I'm sorry to see some people are having trouble with Kahoot during this time. We'll go ahead and check our internet connection. Please check yours as well. But this is interactive. And I see there's a lot of questions out there that we've either addressed orally, right, talking to you, but we'll also go back in the Facebook group and try to answer them. That way you guys have that contact information. And last thing, I do want to encourage you, if you haven't had the chance yet, connect with the people in the group. We've got a ton of people that are writing in and asking questions and that have already introduced themselves. Take a look and see, oh, wow, this is a fellow agent or lender in my market. Maybe it's a great way to go ahead and connect. And that's one of the great things about social media. You can go ahead and connect with people and go ahead and hopefully create some systems to help people become homeowners through Trio. All right, folks, I will see you here in about an hour and 45 minutes. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.